What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report for Monday, January 10th. Now, we have some major news that has come out over the past weekend, and I also want to address what is being said today. First off, we do know that Nancy Pelosi is supportive of stimulus checks. That means both to the American people and to businesses as well. So we got major stimulus updates there. I want to address that. And we're going to talk about how the Biden administration potentially requesting more pandemic spending funds. This is actually going to cause inflation to get worse, and this could potentially happen very soon. So let's address what is going on right now and how this is actually going to impact every single one of us. So first off, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful week ahead of you. If you enjoy these daily uploads, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button. Also, consider subscribing so you never miss an update. But let's get into it. According to reports, the Biden administration is going to be asking Congress very soon for more money to help them fight through this pandemic. They are saying that the $5.6 trillion in relief funding that they received has not been enough. Now, the list of provisions that is expected to be thrown out and thrown into the mix to provide this huge relief bill, this is going to be long. According to multiple experts, what's going to happen is this pandemic relief bill, which is technically the new Build Back Better Act. Lawmakers are planning to throw everything into it. Everything. And then they will cut out anything that can't be passed. We do know, again, what's going to happen is they're going to probably try to do another reconciliation bill. The issue there is you still need 50 Senate Democrats on board, which means you still need Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Who knows what they're going to do, but we do have expectations kind of moving forward. And here's what is expected to happen. Nancy Pelosi alluded to the fact that she wants to include the government funding bill with this pandemic relief bill. But inside that pandemic relief bill, you also have the Build Back Better Act. So by putting them all together, essentially what she's trying to do is they're pretty much going to play a game with Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema and make them vote no. Force them to vote yes. Now here's the thing. We already know the Build Back Better Act is not something that Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema really want. However, we have to keep the government funded. We have to provide a little bit more assistance for this pandemic, right? So if we take those two priorities and package it with something that they don't want or don't support, what the expectation is that they have to go along with it and ultimately pass the bill. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But here's the craziest part. And I want to bring this up because I think a lot of people are missing this. The 5.6% or the $5.6 trillion bill or bills that has been passed. And this was passed under both administrations, the Trump administration and the Biden administration. This is actually causing a massive amount of inflation. And inflation at this point is what is causing some people not to be able to afford things like food, medications, and other things that they've bought in the past 2 years. So, some inflation was fine, according to multiple reports. But they state that Americans were accepting the fact that we had inflation because real estate values were going up, stocks were sky high, crypto was running wild, right? Everybody was doing great that had assets, but not now because stocks are falling back down, crypto selling off, and real estate could essentially follow this trend in the coming year. So I actually talked to a handful of people this weekend, and when I asked them, they all said the same thing. One said inflation was a worry of his, but because of his investments, that didn't really matter anymore. Another said, if things completely flipped, which they have, then inflation would really hurt. So So here's what I can tell you. What we're seeing right now is the Biden administration is potentially going to request more money from Congress. Okay. But at the same time, we have the Federal Reserve trying to taper, trying to eliminate their stimulus into the economy. So the Federal Reserve is going to eliminate some of theirs, which is actually going to, it's supposed to bring down inflation. And then the Biden administration is going to ask for more funding, which is essentially going to bring inflation back up. So essentially what's going to happen is, even though I think the Federal Reserve believes we're going to be in like the 2% inflation rate by the end of this year, I think it's like 2.6 or something, the expectation is we're going to be closer to 4 to 5% inflation, and that will most likely stick for a couple of years. So that could hurt quite a bit. But here's what I can tell you. At the same time, Nancy Pelosi is actually open to the idea of packaging the government funding bill and COVID relief bill together. And she says this would have to be done before February 18th because that is as long as the stopgap bill actually goes. So, she also stated that more relief will be required as vaccine mandates take effect. And Nancy Pelosi has always been open to the idea of new stimulus, but only if it's truly needed. And based off a lot of the research and studies and really just the facts that have been coming out, based off the surge in COVID cases, the Biden administration feels that more stimulus is needed, but we need to provide it soon. Now, I actually talked about this yesterday, where I said that multiple experts are saying if we are going to get any form of stimulus, if we're going to get additional COVID relief, it has to happen in the next few weeks. Okay? That means by the end of January. But according to reports, the Democratic Party is saying we just need to get it done by the middle of February, which is essentially the government funding when it runs out. So, what we could see moving forward, and again, this isn't a guarantee, but this is according to reports, what we could see. We could see the government funding bill be attached to a COVID relief package that includes things like stimulus checks to the American people. The purpose of this is because a lot of people are having to take time off because they contracted COVID and gotta wait 5 days. Or their children are now doing school at home, remote learning, and so they have to, pretty much quit their job to go and attend to their children. Which I know a lot of people say, well, they're children. This is, they're theirs, so they should be the ones that are taking care of them. True, right? I don't think anybody denies that, but the person is quitting their job. There's no unemployment benefits, and now they're going to try to take on the role of a school, and that's causing a lot of issues. We also know that we could potentially see additional business aid, and this is probably the most likely, is additional business aid. We also could see additional childcare provisions, and this is a big one. This could include childcare tax credits. This could include the childcare credit as well. This could include tax credit payments, pre-K, universal pre-K. There's a lot of stuff in here. When we talk about just childcare provisions, it's a big bill. It's a massive provision. We also could see affordable housing, which I addressed yesterday as well. There's a lot of issues there, but probably climate change. This is something that many people say is needed, and we're running out of time, so we need to pass this immediately. And who knows? Who knows what else may be included? But here's what we do know. We know that Democrats are very concerned. They're extremely concerned, even just by the statements that they make and by the moves that they're now trying to make. Democrats are very concerned over the upcoming midterm elections. They want to do whatever they can to pass bills or a bill to get voters back on their side. And even Senator Bernie Sanders, he had something to say about this. And he said, and I quote, "It is no great secret that the Republican Party is winning more and more support from working people. It's not because the Republican Party has anything to say to them. It's because in too many ways the Democratic Party has turned its back on the working class." So, and that's pretty true. Now, I'm not going to say Democrats are completely turning their back on the working class, but they're providing a lot of support, or it seems, to the wealthier individuals. SALT tax deductions helping wealthy individuals. And that was the big fight. That was one of the big fights, was we need to provide the SALT tax deductions. We need to, step these up. But that's the thing, is how do you pass the SALT tax deduction, which gives wealthier individuals another deduction, but at the same time you're saying, hey, we should tax the rich. It just didn't add up. So it's going to be interesting to see, and it's very interesting to know that even Democrats understand that they are right now chasing the Republican Party at a time when they have all the power in the world to pass meaningful legislation. But they're not doing that. So here's what I can tell you, and I said this the other day. My expectation is, based off of all the research I have done, is that we are going to see very soon, we're going to see a lot of different proposals, provisions. Today is when the House of Representatives will be back in Washington, which is going to be great. But here's the problem. We now have the different idea. Let's put the government funding bill, let's take the COVID relief package, let's put them together. But at the same time, let's bring in provisions from the Build Back Better Act. Let's throw those in. Let's bring in other things for COVID relief, like stimulus checks, PPP funding for businesses, right? Let's put those all in there, and let's pass a major bill. So we'll see what happens, but what I can tell you right now is we're not done. We are not done. We're not even close. My expectation is the next 2 weeks are going to be very telling as to where we go moving forward. So I will be here every step of the way. If you have any questions whatsoever, ask your questions down in the comment section below. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.